Donald Trump's latest campaign stop in Aurora, Colorado, has sparked outrage not only from local officials, but also from a prominent Republican senator. As the 2024 election looms, Trump's visit to the safely blue state has raised eyebrows, not just for his attempt to galvanize his base, but for the inflammatory rhetoric he unleashed. Claiming Aurora had been overrun by Venezuelan gang members, Trump's speech was met with immediate pushback from both Democratic and Republican leaders alike. Most notably, Republican Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado denounced Trump as a liar and called for him to retire from politics altogether. This moment encapsulates the growing fissures within the Republican Party, with many members openly distancing themselves from Trump. As the former president attempts to make border security and immigration the central themes of his campaign, he finds himself increasingly isolated, rejected not only by Democrats, but also by his own party. Trump's tendency to rely on disinformation and stoke fear among his followers is proving to be more of a liability than an asset, as figures across the political spectrum unite to push back against his tactics. In this video, we'll break down Trump's recent visit to Aurora, the controversies surrounding his comments, and the growing rebellion against him within Republican ranks. As his political career enters a critical phase, Trump faces unprecedented opposition from the very party he once commanded with an iron fist. Is this the beginning of the end for Donald Trump? Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 1,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. Alright, let's dive right into it. Trump's inflammatory rhetoric in Aurora. On a crisp October day, Donald Trump arrived in Aurora, Colorado, a city just outside Denver, with grand political ambitions. Despite Colorado being a solidly blue state, Trump and his campaign believed that visiting areas like Aurora would generate media attention and keep him in the spotlight. However, what was intended as a strategic move to dominate headlines quickly backfired, as Trump's speech became a firestorm of false claims and hyperbole. Trump took to the stage in Aurora, declaring that the city had been invaded by Venezuelan gang members who had infested the community. Aurora is being conquered by migrants, and we have to live with these animals, Trump told his audience, invoking images of chaos and fear. He further announced that if re-elected, he would launch a federal program called Operation Aurora to deport these so-called gang members and restore safety to the community. The problem? Virtually none of what Trump said was true. Local officials, including Aurora's Republican Mayor Mike Coffman, immediately pushed back on Trump's claims. The reality is that the concerns about Venezuelan gang activity have been grossly exaggerated, Coffman said in a statement. He added that while there had been some criminal activity associated with migrants, it was nowhere near the scale Trump was describing. Aurora's police department echoed Coffman's sentiments, clarifying that while gang activity exists, it is not unique to migrants and is a manageable issue. The mayor even offered to brief Trump privately to help him understand the situation better, but it appears the former president had little interest in the facts. False claims and political opportunism. Trump's remarks in Aurora followed a familiar pattern of using immigration as a wedge issue to stoke fear among his base. His focus on border security has been a cornerstone of his campaign from the very beginning, and in many ways, he's recycling the same themes that helped him win the presidency in 2016. But as his rhetoric becomes more extreme, the pushback from both sides of the aisle has become more pronounced. For months, Trump has been falsely claiming that cities across America are being overrun by immigrants, particularly from Venezuela. He has accused the Biden administration, and by extension Vice President Kamala Harris, of allowing violent criminals to flood the country unchecked. In Aurora, he doubled down on these baseless accusations, linking Venezuelan migrants to gang violence and warning that the city had become a war zone. Democratic lawmakers and immigration advocates have repeatedly debunked these claims, pointing to the fact that crime rates among migrants are generally lower than those of native-born citizens. Moreover, many of the immigrants Trump refers to are asylum seekers fleeing violence in their home countries, not gang members as he so often portrays them. The truth, however, has never been a priority for Trump. His focus is on creating a narrative of fear and danger, positioning himself as the only candidate capable of saving America. But as the facts continue to contradict his rhetoric, even Republicans are beginning to distance themselves from his divisive tactics. Senator Michael Bennet's fiery rebuke. One of the most vocal critics of Trump's Aurora speech was none other than Republican Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado. Bennet, who has long been a moderate voice within the party, was quick to condemn Trump's remarks, calling him a liar and accusing him of using immigration as a political football. In an interview with CNN's Jake Tapper, Bennet didn't mince words. He came here to demonize immigrants. He came here to divide us, because that's his only playbook, Bennet said. He pointed out that both local law enforcement and the FBI had confirmed that Trump's claims about Venezuelan gang members were false. Yet Trump continued to peddle the narrative. "I'm sorry to have him here in Colorado," Bennet added, "but on another level, I'm happy because it shows just how out of touch he is. There's no way he's going to win this state, and from a political point of view, his visit was a complete waste of time." Bennet went further, penning an op-ed in the Denver Post, where he argued that Trump's obsession with immigration politics was reason enough for him to retire from public life. President Trump's decision to descend on Aurora and play immigration politics is further proof that he should never be president again, Bennet wrote. He praised Vice President Kamala Harris for her work on immigration reform and emphasized that America could be both a nation of immigrants and one that upholds the rule of law. The Republican rebellion against Trump. Bennett's sharp rebuke is emblematic of a larger trend within the Republican Party. As Trump continues to alienate voters with his incendiary rhetoric, more and more Republicans are speaking out against him. What was once a unified party under Trump's leadership is now fracturing, with many GOP members openly calling for a change in direction. Aurora's Mayor Mike Kaufman, himself a Republican, made it clear that Trump's visit did more harm than good. By exaggerating the crime problem and insulting the community, Trump alienated the very people he claims to represent. Kaufman's decision not to attend Trump's rally was a significant statement in itself, as local Republican leaders increasingly find themselves caught between loyalty to their party and the need to protect their communities from Trump's toxic influence. Even on the national stage, prominent Republicans like former House Speaker Paul Ryan and Senator Mitt Romney have voiced concerns about Trump's impact on the party. Ryan, in particular, has been vocal about the need for the GOP to move beyond Trump and embrace a more moderate, forward-thinking platform. "We're losing voters and we're losing elections," Ryan recently said in an interview. "If we don't adapt, we're going to become irrelevant." Trump's desperate attempts to stay relevant. As Trump faces mounting opposition within his own party, his strategy appears to be one of doubling down. Rather than soften his tone or pivot to more unifying messages, Trump has chosen to dig in, amplifying his most extreme positions and demonizing anyone who dares to criticize him. His attacks on immigration, his false claims about crime, and his continued insistence that the 2020 election was stolen all point to a campaign that is running on fumes. In the final weeks of this election, Trump's rallies are becoming more erratic and less effective. His visit to Detroit, just days before his Aurora stop, was another disaster. There, he insulted the city's leadership and falsely claimed that the entire community was being overrun by Haitian immigrants. This drew immediate rebukes from local officials, who described Trump's comments as not only false, but dangerous. Trump's strategy of exploiting fear and division may have worked in 2016, but it's wearing thin in 2024. The American electorate, battered by years of political chaos, economic uncertainty, and the COVID-19 pandemic, is increasingly seeking stability and truth. Trump's refusal to provide either is pushing voters away, even within his own party. As Donald Trump's campaign flounders in the final stretch of the 2024 election, his inflammatory rhetoric and reliance on disinformation are becoming liabilities. His visit to Aurora, Colorado, is a case in point. While he hoped to galvanize his base with tales of a city under siege by migrants, the reality on the ground was far different. Local officials, both Democrat and Republican, rejected his claims outright, and Senator Michael Bennet's fiery condemnation of Trump as a liar echoed the sentiments of many within the GOP. Trump's once unassailable grip on the Republican Party is slipping. As figures like Bennet, Kaufman, and Ryan distance themselves from the former president, the cracks in the GOP's facade are becoming impossible to ignore. The question now is whether Trump will heed the growing calls for his retirement, or whether he will continue down his current path, dragging the party and the country along with him. One thing is certain: the political landscape has changed, and Trump is no longer the dominant force he once was. As he faces increasing opposition from both sides of the aisle, it seems the era of Donald Trump may finally be coming to an end.